when I received a call from my husband, Jace, who was visiting his parents. He sounded desperate.
My mom collapsed. Come to the hospital right away.
Suppressing my anger, I replied, "That's a lie. I won't be fooled." Jace retorted,
Why would I lie about something like that? Just come already.
His anger flared, and he ordered me around. It was time to set things straight. My name is Madison. At 38, I make a living as a manga artist. My husband, Jace, is a doctor who took over the dental clinic previously run by his late father-in-law. Our daughter, Lydia, is a first-year middle school student, and everything seemed to be going smoothly. However, we faced two significant problems. First was the presence of my mother-in-law. Initially overbearing, her interference intensified after my father-in-law's death 10 years ago, leaving me perpetually stressed. My mother-in-law would say,
Jace is a doctor. You should handle all the household chores and childcare while supporting him. A manga artist? Drawing won't earn you any money. Stop those bad influences on Lydia and focus on her education.
She constantly criticized my methods and even meddled in my work. Despite living an hour away, she took the train almost daily to mentally attack me. When I consulted Jace replied gruffly,
She's just nagging. Listen to what mom says, okay?
His bad mood had a reason. Our second problem. The dental clinic he managed was consistently in the red. Recently, a new doctor had been stealing our patients. Understandably so, as Jace's dental skills weren't top-notch. Patients reluctantly visited us because there were no other options, but with the new clinic opening, it was only natural they'd switch. I was fed up with Jace's consistently bad mood.
Mom, you don't need to pay attention to Grandma's words. I really love your comics.
Lydia, thank you. Lydia was always on my side, providing the only support I had. But then a major event shook my world.
We've decided to take Lydia in with us.
What? What do you mean? My mother-in-law made an outrageous statement out of the blue.
We can't trust you with her. I'll educate her properly.
The truth was, Lydia had failed her middle school entrance exam. My mother-in-law, who wanted Lydia to become a doctor like Jace, was furious. She blamed my lack of discipline as her mother for Lydia's failure and decided to take Lydia under her wing to train her. I can't accept that. Of course, I refused. Lydia hadn't even expressed a desire to become a doctor. I conveyed all this and vehemently opposed it, but my mother-in-law wouldn't listen. I turned to Jace for help.
A change of environment will help her learn better. Besides, with you around, she'll just read comics all day, which isn't good for her education.
But...
Anyway, it's already decided. Stop complaining and listen.
Exactly. You're our daughter-in-law, after all.
And so, they forcibly moved all of Lydia's belongings to their house and completed the paperwork for her transfer to a nearby middle school.
I'll just go along with what they say. I'll be fine.
But... Lydia had learned the hard way that neither Jace nor my mother-in-law would consider her opinion. She gave up without a fight and went to live with them. I couldn't help Lydia, and disappointment filled me as I obediently followed their decisions. It seemed they took away Lydia's smartphone at their place, and she couldn't freely communicate with me. With Lydia gone, I sank into despair, unable to focus on my beloved work. My unstable income and fear of losing custody made me contemplate divorce. Yet, the thought of losing custody terrified me, so I resigned myself to daily melancholy. Strangely, since Lydia went to my in-laws' house, Jace had become kinder. His work kept him away most of the time, and even when he was home, we rarely conversed. But lately, he'd buy cake on his way back and engage in dinner conversations, as if we were a normal, affectionate couple. I was suspicious and decided to ask Jace what was going on. "What's up with you lately? You seem to be in a good mood."
Oh! Actually, the number of patients coming to my hospital has increased.
I see. So that's why he became kinder. I agreed with Jace's statement and thought that maybe I could do it now, so I bravely told Jace how I felt. "Listen, I'll work hard, so please let me live with Lydia."
That discussion should have been over already. Besides, if she transfers schools again, it will cost a lot of money and paperwork.
I know, but Lydia is only 13 and I'm worried. Please, at least let me contact her every day. Please, can you ask your mother for me? I bowed my head and Jace sighed deeply.
All right. I'll talk to my mom. I'm sorry for making you feel lonely.
He said that to me. I felt a little hope and my heart lightened. The next evening, I was preparing dinner. After yesterday's events, I felt that the distance between Jace and me had narrowed, so I made only his favorite dishes, but I got a message from Jace that he would be late. I was disappointed, but I thought he must have had something to do at work, so I resumed making dinner. That's when it happened. I heard the sound of the front door opening, and before I had time to wonder, the living room door opened with a loud thud. I was startled and tensed up, but to my surprise, it was Lydia who was there. "Huh? Lydia?"
Mom. Go buy a security camera right now and install it in the garage.
Lydia said that and handed me a letter.
There's a detailed explanation written there, so read it. Hurry up or Grandma will find out.
Lydia didn't have time to rejoice at the reunion, and she told me that one-sidedly, and hurriedly left again. I felt that something was wrong from Lydia's appearance, and I quickly read the letter. And I was chilled by the horrible truth that was written there. A week later, Jace went back to his parents' house and said he wanted to talk to his mother and Lydia.
I'll tell you how Madison feels, so wait for me.
Okay. How are you going to get back to your parents' house? Do you want me to drive you? Jace was bad at driving and hardly ever drove, so I asked him that and he said,
No. I'll take a taxi.
He said that and left the house in a hurry. I saw Jace off to his parents' house and prepared myself for what was about to begin. 3 hours after Jace left for his parents' house, I got a call from him.
My mom collapsed. Come to the hospital right away.
When I answered the phone, Jace said that to me in a desperate tone, so I replied with suppressed anger. That's a lie. I won't be fooled. Jace was silent for a few seconds, then shouted,
Why would I lie about something like that?
Hey, did you notice? I installed a security camera in the garage.
What?
There, I saw you cutting the brake hose last night. When I told him that, I could tell that Jace gasped on the other end of the phone. If you want me to drive so badly, why don't I take your precious, named Sadie? Shall I drive with her next to me?
No!
Jace was clearly shaken, and I sighed deeply. Did you think I wouldn't find out? You were hardly ever at home, saying you had work or something. But you were probably going to that woman's place, weren't you?
No! I didn't cheat.
You won't admit it? Then I'll go to that woman's house and confront her. If she lies too. Then Jace interrupted me.
You don't have any proof, do you? You don't need to go that far.
I don't have proof, but it will be clear soon.
What do you mean?
I mean, you're going to be arrested. Right after I said that, I heard the sound of a police siren over the phone.
What did you do?
What? I just told the truth. How dare you, a doctor, try to take someone's life for selfish reasons? You better reflect on your actions in prison.
Shut up. I won't be caught.
He yelled and I heard him running, as if he was trying to escape, so I told him loudly. You shouldn't run, you know? You'll only make your crimes worse. Jace didn't hear me or ignored me, and I only heard the sound of him running, but a few minutes later, I heard him being restrained by a police officer.
No! I'm a doctor. I didn't do anything.
Then why did you run?
That's... Anyway, I'm innocent. Let me go.
He kept resisting until the end, but the call was cut off in the middle. I was worried about what happened, but the police contacted me and said they had taken him to the police station safely, and I was relieved. Lydia, are you okay?
Mom,
After the police questioning was over, I met Lydia, who had also been questioned. You must have been tired from being asked so many things. This is what Lydia told me. A few weeks after Lydia started living at her grandparents' house, Jace was called by his mother and came to their house. There, the two of them were discussing how to make me disappear in an accident and get the insurance money, and Lydia happened to overhear them. They thought that if he said his mother collapsed, I would rush to the hospital, and if I had an accident, that would be the reason, and no one would suspect the car was tampered with. His mother had been living on her husband's inheritance, but she spent money recklessly, and soon the inheritance ran out, and she was living in debt, and she was in desperate need of money. So she asked Jace for money, but Jace was also in debt to keep his clinic afloat, and he was spending the extra money on his mistress, so he refused to give her any. His mother was in trouble, so she suggested this to Jace.
Why don't you put a lot of insurance on Madison and get rid of her?
What? Get rid of her.
You have someone else you love, and you need money, right? It would be convenient if she was gone. I would be saved if I got the money, too. It's a win-win situation.
That's true.
And they planned this crime. Lydia, who knew everything about the plan, hurried to warn me of the danger. But she had her smartphone taken away, so she couldn't record the scary conversation or tell me about it. So she asked me to install a security camera to get evidence when she came to me as soon as her grandmother was away. I went to buy a security camera right away and installed it in the garage. And yesterday, the security camera showed Jace secretly tampering with the car, and the drive recorder also recorded his voice talking to his mother on the phone.
This will get us a lot of money. I'll feel relieved when she's gone.
So I took the video and audio, Lydia's letter, and went to the police as soon as Jace left. The police were on their way to question Jace at his parents' house when I got a call from him, and that's how he was arrested. If the brake hose is cut, you'll notice something is wrong as soon as you start driving, so it won't cause a fatal accident. But Jace and his mother, who don't drive, didn't know that and committed the crime. What a foolish pair of parent and child. They took Lydia to their house by force to make her work for them. His mother did nothing at home and just lazed around, and she made Lydia do all the chores. His mother said she wanted to make Lydia study, but she didn't have any time to study at all, and I felt like crying from frustration and anger. It's because I didn't know anything. I'm really sorry I couldn't help you before this happened. I was ashamed of myself for not noticing that Lydia had been through such hardships, and for mistaking Jace's kindness for something else. I apologized to Lydia. But Lydia said,
I'm glad you're safe, Mom.
She said that and cried, so I hugged her tightly and swore in my heart, I will always protect Lydia from now on. 3 months have passed since then. Jace was arrested for attempted murder. His mother was also charged and indicted for instigating it. They were sentenced to 5 years in prison. Jace went to prison, so I couldn't divorce him by agreement. I filed for divorce, and it was finalized there. I demanded $90,000 in damages from Jace for cheating on me and trying to take my life, but he said he couldn't pay because his mother had spent all his savings. It seems that after his mother was refused money by Jace, she secretly made Lydia bring Jace's cash card and other things, and withdrew all his savings. And she didn't use that money to pay off her debts, but spent it on nightlife, which was really hopeless. She said she had asked Jace for his PIN in case something happened to him. So Jace had to pay me in installments after he got out. Jace, who thought he was a superior doctor, was so stressed by his prison life that he lamented, and his mother couldn't stand the prison life either, and lost her sanity and started acting strangely. I heard from the police. Actually, I didn't have any conclusive evidence of his affair, but when they investigated Jace, they questioned the woman who might be involved, and it turned out that she had nothing to do with it, and it was just an affair. They probably planned to live happily with his mother and the woman after getting rid of me with the insurance money. I was disgusted by how foolish they were. I sued the woman for $25,000 in damages and got her to pay in one lump sum. Jace lost his medical license because of his criminal record, and had to close his clinic, and all he had left was a huge debt and a criminal record. The woman was a dental assistant at the hospital Jace ran, and she is now unemployed. I hope she doesn't find a job for as long as possible. I sold the house I lived in and went back to my parents' house, which was about 5 hours away by car. I thought Lydia might not like transferring schools again, but she wanted to forget her father and grandmother as soon as possible, and she was positive about starting a new life. I also overcame the incident that happened to me, and I drew a comic with a little embellishment and posted it on the internet, and it spread and got a lot of feedback. My popularity as a manga artist also increased, and I got a new serialization. I was happy that there was something good after something bad.
What kind of story are you going to write next?
Well, you'll see when the serialization starts.
Hey! Tell me.
I haven't completely overcome the incident yet, but I'm going to work hard with anger and pain as my motivation. And I want to live peacefully with Lydia.
How did you like this story? Please subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.